was in it.
At Copperdraw said, hey guys.
See? Easy peasy. 9 years of practice, but easy peasy after that.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Easy peasy. Easy peasy, like I said right there.
At Catherine Vanderpool 5606 said hi.
Hi. We got the comments rolling already right away.
At Lucid Dragon said hi Pete.
What up, Lucid Dragons? How's it going?
At TP8 Forever asks, did they live?
Did they live?
At Nate Leeds 4160 said Bros caps like lock was on.
Yeah, I heard my caps lock was on for the title. It said you like me when I'm angry, and with all the caps lock on it, it made it look even more angry. So, I guess that was kind of fitting. I suppose we can fix that afterwards. You all know what I meant. As you can tell, the comments are rolling. I'm here. You just watched a couple of my waves from the weekend. Two very different waves. The first one was with Brooks, and I need bigger waves to know what's going on. That first wave was so small, I got into it, and I didn't know I was in a wave. That's kind of the problem. When you can't see what you're doing, you need the tactile feedback. And I was on that one, and then all of a sudden I kind of got this feeling. I was like, hey, I think I might be moving forward. That's why I said I didn't know I got into it until I was into it. And then the next one was on Sunday. I was out surfing with Nisha, and I got a good wave, got into it at the right spot, did some good stuff with it, got to the end, and I said, easy peasy. Because it was.
Welcome to the Blind Surfer Show.
And then I clarified it was easy because I've been practicing it for 9.5 years. And I always have to remember that when I'm out there. Don't take for granted the fact that I had to put a lot of work into getting good at this sport. It was something that I really, really, really wanted to do, and I felt like it would be important for my mental health, getting out there and still being able to be physically active, even though I'd lost my eyesight, and I worked insanely hard at getting, halfway decent / good at surfing, and then, now I am. And so every once in a while when I'm out there, I kind of try and appreciate that. We got the text.
So I can't call today, but I just wanted to pop in and say hi.
Hi. Hello, everybody. We got the text rolling.
Boy 1900 said hello, Mr. Peter.
Hello back at you. So if you send
Dank MF Angel said hi, Joni.
What up, Dank MF Angel, one of the regulars in the chat there. If you are in the chat and you're sending your messages, and I just so happen to hit this button right here, it will get played. That's Jenny, the chat lady. She'll say it out loud for you. One of these days, I feel like I should do the chat. I should set up text-to-speech just in one ear so you can't hear anything other than me. I got so many things I want to get to today, and yes, I'm still I have not been this sick for this long forever. This is the 2-week mark of me starting to feel sick, and I'm finally almost completely better. And being that sick for that long, put me in a grumpy mood. I was attacking some people that deserved it as far as I could tell, and I will address that in a little bit very shortly. But like I said, the chat lady is rolling, Jenny the chat lady, and if you want to send in a message and have it read right away, there's 2 ways to do it.
At Joni BC said hi everyone.
Hi everyone.
I'm doing triple duty tonight.
Triple duty.
Please be kind.
Please
follow the rules.
Yeah, please be kind to Joni.
And only call if you're 18 or older.
That's right. I think we're not taking calls just yet. So it's supposed to be up on the screen right now. I'm just putting it up there so people see it. We're not doing calls just yet, but on the screen it should be somewhere up there, thereabouts. It gives you the phone number and it says must be 18 plus, but we're not doing any calls just yet. So we'll get to that later. But if you want to have your message read right away and you want to support the show, i.e. me and Sam the Chicken over here, you can do a super chat on YouTube. If you do $3 or more, it'll get read out loud by the text-to-speech voice. No matter what I'm doing, no matter what's going on, it'll interrupt me and talk. If you are on Twitch and you want to do it over there, it's 200 bits, which I think is about $2. Just pay attention to the character limits, because a couple weeks ago someone tried to put a mini novelette and it didn't read the whole thing. It'll read a fair amount, but it won't do an endless amount of text. Those are the couple ways to get in touch with me.
I pop in and out, but I don't have much to talk about tonight.
I have plenty to talk about tonight. So hopefully you guys are all here for it.
And was here asks, I do wonder, what's your favorite food, Pete?
What's your favorite food, Pete? I have it. I didn't even check this thing. Oh, it's on the ground. I have another microphone. I wonder if this thing is working. Test. No, it's broken. This microphone is a very expensive mic. Stupid thing. I need to turn on the phantom power on it one of these days, and then I'll let you hear what a real voiceover microphone sounds like. My favorite food is ribs. I just love ribs, and I found out my favorite Italian restaurant around here actually carries ribs, which is kind of rare for an Italian restaurant to have ribs. There you go. That's how you do the super chat.
At
Every week.
la_may_y_query
Thank you.
_Cisa tip $3 through super chat. Sour apple, sneaky Pete, and shenanigans. That is all.
Hey, that's weird. How did you know sour apple? Is the can here somewhere? I don't think it is. I was drinking a can of sour apple C4 energy drink right before my my workout today. So that's what do you got? Cameras in my house? I mean, there's cameras all over my house, but I didn't think anybody else had access to them. That's how the super chat works right there. $3 or more on YouTube, 200 bits on Twitch. And don't forget, if you want to make sure that you don't miss this thing, Twitch does a really good job of sending out the notifications. YouTube does not. So you can follow me on Twitch. That's at Pete Gustin. So like I've been wanting to get into, I went at a couple of people. What order should I do this in? I'll do it in hey, there you go. Wow, you guys are fast. Someone just followed on Twitch. Oh, and then I just got notified as to who followed me on Twitch, I think. It says, Edit was here's followed me on Twitch. Edit was here. Edit was here. All right, that was pretty instantaneous feedback. Thank you for that. Yeah, so I got kind of, because I was kind of feeling sick and grumpy, I was getting a little pissed off with the comments and people who were accusing me of faking being blind. And we've covered this a million times, but the thing that I wanted to address is I think most of the people were supporting my decision to go after these people, but a lot of people like, you need to ignore them. Don't let them get airtime. This is what they want. And I started thinking about when I was in 7th grade. This is a story I've told before. Kids ask me like how they ask how they should deal with bullying, and I tell them how I dealt with bullying, which is a very different thing. It was a different time, different place. But what I did worked for me, and that was when I was in 7th grade and I was getting picked on endlessly for losing my eyesight, which when you think of it is kind of a messed up thing to pick on a kid for. I was getting picked on a lot, and I decided to fight back. And I mean, like literally, like a kid would say something mean or do something mean or dump my books or make fun of me using a binocular or magnifying glass. And I would literally like launch at them and start fighting. And to the point that they were like, okay, it's not worth it to pick on this kid, to bully this kid, because every time we do it, it ends up in a fight. Again, I am not advocating this. I'm telling you what I did when I was in 7th grade, which was like 1989. And I started thinking about these jackasses that are coming in saying, thank you for the follow over there on Twitch, that I'm faking being blind. And it's upsetting in so many ways, because it's so easy and obvious to look up the history of my eyesight disorder. I mean, there's decades of it online. It's not a question. This isn't a question. And that's why I feel like these people are just trying to detract from my channel. Because if someone sees me surfing blind or skateboarding blind or rock climbing or doing any of the other challenges that I take on blind, and then they see some goofball saying that I'm faking, they might think that I'm faking, because people believe the last thing that they read online. So to me, it's important that those messages don't get out there. On top of that, I think it's really detrimental to the disabled community when people feel empowered to tell people that they're faking. So it was bothering me in a couple ways. And like I was saying about how I handled this in 7th grade, I decided to go at these people in the hopes that they wouldn't be able to handle the heat. And in both instances, it was right. I was right. There was one guy, what was his username? It was something Maple Viavelli. And at first, he seemed to be reveling in all of the attention that he was getting. And people were saying, he's getting exactly what he wants. Pete, don't give him the attention. Don't give him the attention. And the problem with him continuing to double down and say that I'm not blind is he's wrong. It's not like, it's not a political debate. You can't say, yeah, I'm on the left, I'm on the right, and I think my side is right. The dude was literally wrong. And he kept doubling down and kept doubling down. And my followers, you guys out there, crushed him. I mean, like tens of thousands of comments ended up on his page, to the point that it seemed like he was enjoying it for a minute. And he even tried to do a post where he tried to post me responding to him as proof that I wasn't blind. And I think he didn't understand text to speech. I said, the way I'm able to do it is I hear your messages through text to speech and I write back using speech to text. And he posts on his page, he's like, see, this is proof that he can see the messages. So the guy wasn't very smart to begin with. And continue in a second.
At SarahCam7808 tipped $5 through Super Chat. Just swinging by to drop a Super Chat. Please like, subscribe, and Super Chat if possible.
All that. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate your swinging by. Appreciate the support. Love, Sarah. And yeah, stick around, stay in, pop out, wherever you need to do tonight if you're busy. Yeah, so the guy was loving the attention for a minute. But after like the 10,000th comment where people were calling him an idiot, even this guy, who I think he wanted this attention, I think he wanted it, turned off his comments because he couldn't take the heat anymore. And then the second guy, Uncle Sanitariums, who pissed me off because not only did he say that I was faking to try and, get money or fame or whatever the hell he thinks I get from this channel, he told me that I should be ashamed of myself, which was like, oh, that pissed me off. He's like, you should be ashamed of yourself. And so I directed people towards him as well. And you guys, again, my chatters, followers, subscribers, supporters, that channel no longer exists. One second.
At Jetlag27 tipped $5 through Super Chat.
That's a new one. Thanks,
It was so idiotic.
It was. Thank you, Jetlag. I appreciate you spending $5 to say that was idiotic. I appreciate the support. But that guy, Uncle Sanitariums, he was funny. He was not funny. He was sad, pathetic, loser, annoying, pathetic. He would write in the comments, you snowflakes, you can't handle the truth. Thank you for the follow. He would write in the comments, he's like, you snowflakes, you can't handle the truth. And then he'd delete his comment. And then someone would say something to him and he'd say something back. Then he deleted his comment. And he was doubling down for a while. He's like, this guy's clearly a fake. You're all pathetic. None of you are smart enough to figure it out. And then eventually, I think that either YouTube deleted his channel or he deleted it himself. And to me, people are like, why you continue to give these people attention? I think that I sent a message. Yes, I gave these people attention for a minute, but even they realized it was not the kind of attention that they wanted. No one wants tens of thousands of people telling you how dumb you are. Nobody wants that kind of attention. And both of these people, thank you, appreciate all the support tonight. And both of these people, who seemed like they were dumber than rocks, turned off comments, deleted their channel, couldn't handle it. And that, to me, is the win. More than ignoring it and letting those comments stack up. Because I feel like it is hurtful. It's hurtful to the channel. It's hurtful to me. It's hurtful to the community. When those kind of messages stack up and people see he's faking. If there's enough of that, like I said, people believe what they see. Not everybody wants to do the research. Not everybody's a dedicated fan and knows the truth. So I don't want that out there at all. And I also don't want people running around in real life, making the lives of disabled people hard by accusing them of faking. Because sometimes we have to be out in public. Oh my God, disabled people in public. It's so unsightly. It's so unseemly. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate all the follows tonight. And if people feel emboldened and empowered to tell people that they're faking, like that's just not good. So I appreciate the work you guys all did. I mean, it's not going to be like, I'm not calling out a different person a day, but I'm not going to let those comments stack up. I'm not going to let that continue to happen. And I think the less of that finger pointing, accusing nonsense that's out there, directed towards me or other content creators or other people in real life, the better. I think you guys helped me do a good service by getting those people off the internet. And 2 people off the internet isn't a big deal, but it was the message that got sent. I mean, hundreds of thousands of views and likes and comments, probably totaling a million total. And a million interactions lets the public know that type of behavior won't be tolerated. So that's why I did that. And thank you to all of you that supported that. I appreciate that.
At Terminape1 said, hey Brooks.
Brooks is in there?
Tomorrow I'm auditioning for my school talent show by singing Drift Away by Uncle Cracker.
Drift Away by Uncle Cracker. I can't think of that song.
At Mr. Starluck said, hello.
What's up, Mr. Starluck? Hello, back at you.
At DankMF Angel said, I don't like seeing Pete hate honestly.
Was that a lot of Pete
at
hate?
At
Pete defending himself.
said, hey darling Danny.
I mean, am I hating? Well, I got one more thing that you might not like then. I'm a positive guy. I do feel like it was funny. Like I came onto this show, the thing was titled, I'll reverse caps locks by accident. You like me when I'm angry. Cause a lot of people were like supporting and cheering me on and stuff. But I always come onto the show with like a big smile. I'm usually happy. I love my job. I love my friends. I love my wife. I love my hobby. I love, basically so much about my life. But I'm coming on with, some things that were pissing me off. You know, maybe it was because I was sick for a couple weeks, or maybe, you know, every once in a while everybody reaches their breaking point. There was another thing that I've been posting a lot of clips from this show where people are asking questions. Thank you. Appreciate the follow. Hey, it's going well on Twitch tonight. Thank you, guys. That's very nice of you. That's very nice of you. A lot of comments are coming in. A lot of questions are coming in. We'll play some of those tonight on Check Pete's voicemail. I got a handful of good messages that I'm going to play through and respond to them. And people were noticing. Thank you. Wow, this is quite the interactive night. People logging on to Twitch at Pete Gustin, by the way. People are noticing they're like, you're really snarky with your responses, and I think most of the people like that. I think a lot of people enjoy the snarkiness, but sometimes people like, they're just asking a question. And to me, there's a million kinds of questions, but to me, in general, I think there's 3 types of questions. I'll get back to that in a second.
At la_may_y_curry_cisa tip $3 through super chat.
It cut off her super chat. That is super annoying. Well, no, I appreciate the follow. Hold on. Let's see what she said. No, that's the wrong one. I got to go to Streamlabs controller, and then I'm going to go to the chat, and I'm going to go to YouTube, and hopefully it's going to be there. Wait, it was going too fast. Just say Piquat, no, kumquat you radio silence. That's an interesting message. And there is a giant screaming chicken to my left. That was the message right before that one. Yeah, I can squeeze it. He makes the most annoying. Thank you, Lamate. I appreciate the super chat. Yeah, it's a pretty annoying noise. Sam the chicken makes a pretty annoying noise. Oh, so I was saying, as far as I can tell, in broad strokes, there are 3 types of questions. And the first question is a good question. Like, if someone asks me, you know, why do blind people wear sunglasses? Or why are you wearing sunglasses? Like, to me, the answer is obvious because I'm a blind person. But everybody might not know that. And, you know, there's a handful of reasons. Sometimes blind people have odd-looking eyes and they're trying to hide them, but behind reflective lenses. Sometimes they're aware that their eye contact is very bad and can be off-putting, so they hide their eyes behind reflective lenses. You know, sometimes, like myself, I'm blind. I can't see anything of any use, but I have light perception, so light comes in and just gives me massive headaches, and so I wear sunglasses. So that's a good question. And in that case, I will answer it to the best of my ability. And there's a video, why do blind people wear sunglasses? As there are 400 other videos on my channels, on my socials, answering good questions. Over 400 of them. Every question that anybody could ever think to ask it of me, or a blind person, or a voice actor, or a surfer. Over the course of the 6+ years of doing this channel, I've honestly and openly answered all of them. The second type of question that I think I get is less of a question and more of just some sort of aggression. Like, if you're blind, how do you know how to start a video? If you're blind, how is it that you're looking at the camera? That's not really a question. That person is basically just accusing me of faking, which I can't stand. And they're too cowardly to actually say it, that if you're blind. That's the second type of question that I find kind of annoying. And the last question is another one that annoys me, and it actually gets most of my responses, and it's my own personal pet peeve, is that I feel like people don't take half a second these days to try and think things through themselves. Instead of just watching the video and being like, well, how does this, instead of just taking a moment, they comment and ask the question. And like, I don't feel like they need to do that. Like, I feel like, how can you respond to the comments if you're blind? Kind of falls in that category, because if you thought about it, if you used your noodle for a second, you thought about it, you could probably figure out text to speech. Like, okay, the guy can't see, but he can hear. Text to speech is a thing because I use Siri, I use Google, I use Alexa, and these are text to speech models. And like, okay, you could reason that one out. That one I kind of let slide sometimes. But sometimes people are like, how do you know where the box is when you're starting your blind guy unboxing video and you say, this is a blind guy unboxing, and you stab the box. And they're like, how do you know where the box is? And I'm like, how do I know where the box? Like, that's the question. They thought, like, if you're blind, you can't see, and how could you possibly know where something in front of you is? That's the one where they failed to use their own noodle. And I feel like I can't not be sarcastic. I can't answer those questions straight. It's not within my, I don't have the patience for it. In sixth grade, I remember our teacher had a bunch of like nice saying, to do unto others as they want undone to you or whatever. And one of them up there was, patience is a virtue. And I scribbled on the front page of my notebook in sixth grade, patience is a waste of time. I've always been an impatient person. And so when someone doesn't take a moment to try and think an answer through that should be obvious, like engage your brain cells, just think about it for half a second. Like if I'm blind, which I am, and I've got a box in my hand, how do I know where that box is? Like, how do I know? I'm feeling it. That's how, like, I know the chicken is over here. I know Sam the chicken is over. Like, I obviously I'm not looking and I can't see, but I just grabbed him by the neck and he's here, and I can grab him by the belly and I can squeeze him. Like, I don't need to see that. I can certainly hear it, but I can also feel it. There's other senses. So yeah, I guess I've been a little snarky I've been snarky in the comment section. I've been snarky to the non-believers. Just a whole pile of snarkiness. But I'm finally feeling better. Although this week, it sucked. I've been like really stuffed up and not feeling good. So getting through my voiceover work has been very difficult. And last Friday, I had the opportunity to audition for three things in the Star Wars universe. I'm not allowed to, I signed NDAs on exactly what they were, but they were like pretty good characters. And I felt like if I had my full voice, I could have delivered like the depth that the characters needed. And instead I had like, my head was all stuffed up and I was like, use the force is with you. Like my nose is all stuffed up. And there's still a possibility that they might call me back from the auditions that I did last Friday, but probably not. That was such a bummer. Like when the timing of that came through, I'm like, of all the times for me to be sick, I remember when I went full-time voiceovers. I'd left my job in radio and I decided to go full-time voice acting. I took a quick trip with Banana out to Las Vegas and we spent like, I don't know, like a long weekend, 3-4 days. And I came back and I was getting ready. I was going to start my voiceover career. I was, going to buckle down and start looking for clients, working really hard at classes and coaching and everything. And I got sick. I got super sick. I came back from Vegas and I was just like deathly ill. And so it was like 10 days. I just had to like sit around and like not do any voice acting. And it was my new full-time job. I was like, this is my full-time job, but I can't do it. It is when anybody like sneezes or coughs or sounds like around me, I'm such a bad friend and like a bad husband sometimes too. Banana's like, she's like, I'm sick. Can you take care of me? I'm like, no, I don't want that. I don't want what you have. Because it's one thing, like, I was feeling better like 7 or 8 days after I started to get the cold, but I didn't start to sound better till 2 weeks.
At LBK5704 tipped $5 through Super Chat.
Thank you, LBK.
Hey Pete.
Yo.
Love your content from someone who's lost their sight for the most part. How do you cope with it? I'm losing mine and that time still struggle.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a struggle, LBK. Thank you for the support. I appreciate that. And losing your sight is just like, God, like, I've met a couple people born blind, and that, never having had sight is one thing, but like losing it, like having something and having it taken away, how do I deal with it? I guess I'm dealing with it. I try and be active. I try to do things that don't make me focus on the fact that I've lost my eyesight. I try and put myself in comfortable environments. I'm comfortable as a voice actor, sitting in my studio, acting and performing. I am comfortable out there surfing with my friends. For the most part, I'm comfortable. Depends on the day. The day can be a little wild. But, rarely throughout the course of a day, and I set my day up like this on purpose, rarely throughout the course of a day am I like, it sucks that I can't see, because I don't put myself in that position. I put myself in positions where I'm comfortable, where I am succeeding. And sometimes it takes years to find those situations. It took me a long time to become a successful voice actor. It took me a long time to become a competent surfer. But you have to keep that ultimate goal in mind, that if you want to live a comfortable, happy life where you're coping with your disability, you can't let all the things that you can't do anymore start to pile up and compound, because they will, unless you start taking an active role in your life and trying to find things that you can do. And you're going to hit roadblocks along the way. These new things aren't going to be easy. But if you start working on them right away, and you build them up, and you've got a long list of things that you can do and people that are supportive, and it'll get a lot easier after that. Doing a lot of talking tonight. How's the chat? How's the chat going? Is the chat did I lose everybody? You guys all in there talking away. You know what? I want to do oh, that wasn't good. You know what that was? I think I know what that was. I hope it didn't break. It was the let's see. There's this thing on now. The sign when I'm by myself, there's a big sign that says Pete, and then there's a little one that I just kind of tuck behind this surfboard here on days when I don't have it present. I think that I thought about that today. I was like, maybe I shouldn't just tuck that there. Maybe I should actually put it in a safe spot.
V says I'm still here.
Who's still here?
Tasia says I am.
That's a Twitch.
Tasia_cheer.
Tasia.
X200. I am sure you have answered this before, but what is your favorite voiceover project you have done?
I have answered. Banana had me answer that in like a different way last week. But you just drop some Twitch bucks on it, so I'll answer. Oop, someone's either coming or going from a house. Thank you, Tasia, by the way. So that's how that works. If you do 200 bits on Twitch, it'll make that funny noise, and then the voice will get read to you. I'll give you a different one. I've talked about SpongeBob. I've talked about Jabba the Hutt's cousin. I've talked about doing Optimus Prime. But I remember there was this is a funny one, because it's like a money reason. And there was a Keanu Reeves movie called Replicas, where his like family died in a car crash, and then he replicated them. He like regrew his family or something like that. And I got hired to do the campaign, which means that I was going to be doing all the voices of all the commercials. And I got brought on to do the campaign, and the terms were vague. Like, we didn't know what the campaign was going to be. Was it going to be 5 spots? Was it going to be 20 spots? Was it going to be like 20 different spots? Was it going to be variations of what? We didn't know. And basically, I think the total, it was like $12,000. They gave me like $12,000, and they decided to just do tag and title, which means the name of the movie and then the rating. So the session, I remember they called me up and they're like, we're just doing tag and title and this stuff. I was like, really? Because I saw what I heard what my deal was going to be for it. And I was expecting to be on call for a couple weeks doing all these different pickups and different variations and, coming soon in theaters now, critics are raving, like all the different versions of it. But literally I was just like, Replicas in theaters Friday, rated R. And that was like, now playing in theaters Friday. And that was the whole session. And I was like, hey, thank you for the follow over on Twitch. I appreciate it. I was like, hey, that was pretty easy. So that one was my favorite one for that reason. Jenny, the chat lady, already died. Jenny she's so unreliable. Let's see if that one's off. But yeah, if you guys got something to say or something you want to say, I'm kind of curious if I hold on one second. Streamlabs controller. Oh, that's what that is. Should just say pickle. Where's the button? Text lady. There's the text lady. I'll get her rolling on this thing. Show chat feed. It says I don't have a live YouTube feed. That better be wrong. That better be incorrect. I'm pretty sure. Look at that. Look at all these follows on Twitch tonight. Does that mean there's a lot of people watching on Twitch, or does it just mean that everybody listened to me in the beginning and decided to hop over there because their notifications are better? Someone asked me earlier in the week if I had any Boston Marathon stories, because I'm from Boston, spent most of my life there. The Boston Marathon was run on Monday. Like, nobody outside of the state knows this. The Boston Marathon is run on something called Patriots Day, and it's like a holiday. It's like a holiday, and I remember one of the first places I lived out of state was New York, and I moved to New York, and I remember like the marathon day came and it was Patriots Day, and it like wasn't a holiday. I'm like, what is this, just a Massachusetts thing? And I guess it is just a Massachusetts thing. I remember my freshman year of college, I was going to Boston University, and Patriots Day rolled around, the marathon was being run, and I lived in Kenmore Square, which is like this bottleneck of a couple big roads coming together, and I decided to go out with my roommate to go watch the marathon. You know, I wasn't gonna be able to see it or anything, but I wanted to go like experience the marathon, and we were on the sidewalk, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, like if you've ever had a major crowd just kind of get out of control around you. But we were all jammed into a sidewalk, and too many people, like way too many people. Fenway Park, where the Red Sox play, was like a block away. The marathon was going on. Everybody jammed into this one spot, and all of a sudden, everybody just started to crush and compact. And I, at first I was like, oh, this is inconvenient. I can't move. And then I was kind of like, oh, this is a little frightening. And then for a brief moment, I started to panic. I was like, I'm actually getting crushed, like to the point that like I can't get all my breaths in. And I was a freshman, you know, about 5 months into college, just kind of new to the world and out there experiencing like this kind of a crowd for the first time. And at that last moment, like right when it felt like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't catch a breath. Like the crowd just and like broke apart, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I made it out of that. I mean, that was my Boston Marathon story. Not nearly as bad, of course, as, you know, what happened a bunch of years ago with the Boston Marathon bombing, but I'm not gonna get into that.
Johnny PC paid subscriptions. YouTube. At Johnny PC. And Max Murphy Y123B, you can subscribe to the channel.
You can subscribe to the channel.
Tage__.
Oh.
Yeah, I used to live near Boston and experienced that. It's such a huge deal.
Oh, so Tage. So now I got the chat running through this thing because the chat died on me for some reason. But yeah, the Boston Marathon is like a huge deal. I want to do a catch a wave with Pete, because these are from a little while ago, and I don't know how good they look. I'm not entirely sure how good they look, but I'll explain what I was doing out in the water. It was just so bizarre and weird and interesting. I'll explain in a second.
Now it's time to catch a wave with Pete.
Yeah, right there. What did I just catch some air and jump over a shark? I believe that's what I did in Catch a Wave. This is one day the waves were not good, and Josh asks me, he's like, "Hey, you ever done a helicopter?" I'm like, "What? I don't even know what you're talking about." Like before I started surfing out here, before I met Josh, I didn't know anything about surfing, like nothing. I didn't know anything about surfing at all. I didn't know the terminology. I remember when people were like telling me like, there's a southwest swell, peaking, face waves, 2 to 3 feet. And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. I had to like learn all this terminology when I got out here. And so I didn't know what it meant at all, the helicopter. And he's like, it's when you start riding the wave the wrong way, and then you spin it around and start going the right way. And the first thing he told me that I had to learn how to do was ride the board backwards. And I can't even begin to tell you how hard it is. I don't think Josh had any faith that I was going to be able to do. We went and bought a foam board just for this purpose, like a big floaty foam board. And, you know, if you fall and you wipe out, you hit foam as opposed to hitting a epoxy or something and beating yourself up too bad. But like getting on the board backwards and having no like rudder, no way to steer you was just, it seemed very unlikely I was going to be able to do it. And Josh is next to me. Yeah, I think you'll see him like paddle a couple times. He's got a GoPro on his wrist. He pops up and he points the GoPro at me. And this is my very, 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 very first attempt at trying to surf backwards.
Damn! I was not expecting you to be able to do that. I'm not attached to it. I got it.
He said, "Hot damn! I was not expecting you to do that." It was. Sometimes I get lucky with my athletic endeavors. I remember like out there, I was doing wakeboarding and wake surfing. I was like, how am I ever going to be able to do this? And then somehow my body's decided to do it. And that thing, I was all crouched down. I'm sure it wasn't like the sexiest looking pose in the world, but I rode the thing backwards. That I did do a helicopter. I'm told the video of this is a little not spectacular because I'm riding backwards. And you step on the front of the board so that the fin on the front catches the water, and it just instantaneously like launches you forwards. and I wasn't ready for it. I completed the maneuver. I got launched forward, and I think I fell immediately. And Josh is, it's not it was hard. It was hard work doing it. It was hard work videoing it. But for half a second, I think you will see me doing a helicopter in this video right here. I mean, Josh was impressed. That made me happy. I was, he's he's been surfing since he was a kid, and he's like, that was nuts. Now, I completed the maneuver. I wished I could have stayed up and ridden it after completing the helicopter. But we have a lot of fun out there. I've been doing a lot of talking.
7:11 p.m.
7:11. I forget what time I started. I think I started at like 6:30. There's a lot of me just yapping.
Brooks has to stay away from the witch doctor. Rob, he keeps turning him into a red chicken.
Brooks has to stay away from the witch doctor. He keeps turning him into a red chicken.
You did great. DR Jekyll, you did great.
I did great. Thank you.
You did great. Mail about the helicopter.
Yeah, the helicopter.
TikTok. Dr. Jekyll's Ghost.
Hey,
DR Jekyll's Ghost.
Dr. Jekyll's Ghost on
You
TikTok.
did great.
I did great. I didn't even know. Okay, this thing aggregates the chats from
HIC 4570. What's up, Pete? Brooks has YouTube.
from TikTok. I didn't even know that. So hello, TikTok people. Honestly, there's more viewers on TikTok. I got to give TikTok some love. There's more viewers on TikTok than any other platform. When I do this thing every week. Where's the front of this phone? Is this thing working?
You are so inspiring.
I am inspiring. Someone said.
You are so inspiring.
Hold on 1 second.
7:11 p.m.
Show TTS controls.
Button. Repeat message. Button.
Repeat message.
Dr. Jekyll's Ghost says that's incredible.
Oh, Dr. Jekyll's Ghost said that's incredible. That's supposed to be.
533 in Alabama.
That's supposed to be coming through. Hold on, I gotta pause that. That's supposed to be coming through this mixing board over here, but it's not. Because things don't always work the way they're supposed to. I think I want to get to check Pete's voicemail because we got a bunch of those. Tomorrow's going to be the big call-in day. I think we're switching things up a little bit. I think we'll do more calls on Wednesdays. Brooks is not going to be here tomorrow. It's going to be me and Banana, so you'll be able to talk to Banana. The check Pete's voicemail is in the off hours of the show when I am not here, not talking. You can call the phone number 760-517-6844 any time of the day or night. And let's see if I can figure out how to get over to that should be it. I think that should be it. You can get into my voicemail and I ask you to leave a good message, clever, interesting, funny, entertaining. Someone last week, Barry, I thought he was calling to make fun of me, but he was actually just quoting a Norm Macdonald sketch, which he had to explain to me in a message after the fact. But yeah, and then anybody that wants to ask for life advice or anything at all, you can do that. You can leave those messages after the show. Let's see if we can do some of those right now. It is called...
Now it's time to check Pete's voicemail on the Blind Surfer Show.
Yeah, like I said, you dial 760-517-6844 after the show is over. Okay, and you'll be able to leave the messages. And I didn't have the time to go through all of them on my own. Oh, someone just left a message just now. All right then. How do I turn that off? Hello. Now it's trying to make it's trying to like make my credit cards go off or something like that. Hey, I wanted to go back to the text lady. Okay, there we go, text lady. Oh, I broke the text lady. I gotta close text lady, and I gotta reopen text lady. Text lady, she'll come back. There we go. Yes, I do. I have an active feed on TikTok. I know I do. And I forgot what I was saying. I'll just get to the messages. Ready? Here's the first one. Ah, that's not the first one. That's the. Let's see. I have to press this button, then this button, and now Skylar's barking at the door. You guys can all hear her, right?
Hey, Pete. So actually, this is Samuel from Texas, and you're probably thinking, oh, this guy again.
Oh, Samuel from Texas. That's the guy. I'm starting to respect this guy because he just keeps going. He was the guy that called me like a couple of weeks ago, kind of crapping on my Optimus Prime work, and then he called up and did, "I will do your car." He did his impression, and then I made fun of him back of him. But now he's leaving more messages, so that's kind of all right. Cool. He didn't take it too personally.
But I actually have a question.
Okay.
And that's like you obviously have heightened senses now since you went blind, I would imagine. And
I mean, do I have heightened senses? I've discussed this before. As I said, I've answered every question ever. I feel like I pay more attention to my senses They're not necessarily heightened. I just have to pay more attention to them. Anyway, I'll let him get his question out.
Is there anything like you've listened to music, maybe like the same song before you went blind, and then afterwards, after your hearing went up, and you kind of like you hear different parts of it now? You know, like some people when they listen to music through beats for the first time, they're like, oh, I never heard that part in the background, like the synth or whatever. I don't really know. I was just curious if it sounds different now.
It's actually a pretty good question. I gave you a B plus, A minus for that question. That's a good one. And it's not my eyesight that makes me listen to music differently. I think, well, there's two things that makes me and everybody listen to music differently is like the technology. Like you put on a pair of really good headphones now or some earbuds, like top tier ones, and you're like, holy crap, I didn't even notice all the stuff that was going on in this song. Like sometimes there's just like these deep layers of things that you hear with the better equipment. But I will tell you, I wrote, sang, and produced my own albums when I was in a band called Penthouse J, and we were doing electro rock music. So it was very production intensive, like very production intensive. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. Appreciate that. Like I mean, you know, if a regular track had like 3 vocal tracks and 4 guitar tracks and a couple drum tracks and a couple bass, my songs were like 60 to 120 layers deep. There was just like tracks for like a little bit of synth or a little bit of hi-hat and just multiple layers of stuff. And so I've always listened to music ever since then. I mean, I was doing that when I was in like my early 20s. And every time I listen to music now, I'm like a bad music listener. It's hard for me to just get into the groove or the spirit of a song. Like, because a lot of times I'm just listening to the production of it. I remember when Linkin Park came out, I couldn't even tell you what they were singing about. Like, I didn't know anything about. I was like, wow, this stuff is produced amazingly well. And years later, I don't feel like their music, Linkin Park's music, is translated super well. I'm not a big fan of it at the moment. When it came out, I was like, boy, did they produce this stuff well. And a lot of hip hop music is produced really well. But then you can go back and listen to like old Led Zeppelin albums, and they were all doing it all on analog, and that stuff was produced really well. So because I've been an audio production guy ever since I was 18, because I produced my own albums, I listen very closely to the way that things are mixed and mastered and put together. I don't necessarily think it has much, if anything, to do with my eyesight, though. Next one.
Create the Discord. I swear to God.
Oh, how did, all right, I got to talk to the person's screen. There was like 40 of those messages. If you couldn't understand what he said, create the Discord. I swear to God. There were so many of those messages coming in. I get the transcription on my phone. I muted it eventually. It wasn't just that guy. There was 3 or 4 different people that are telling me to create a Discord. Banana will kill me if I take on another project. If I take on another project where I become like the manager of a Discord channel. Now, I love the fact that you guys all want to communicate when I'm not here. This is like the only time that you guys can get together is when I'm here doing the show by myself or with Brooks or Banana. And you all get to interact in the chat, which is super killer awesome. But I understand what you're saying. You want to have the community going more than just those times. If someone out there wants to create a Discord, also it is not a text-to-speech friendly app at all. Like it's not very friendly for text-to-speech. But if someone else wanted to do it and manage it or whatever it's called, as long as it doesn't turn into something like creepy, freaky, weird, or strange, I'll be happy to, promote it and bless it. But I can't, the guy's like, create the Discord. I swear to God. But yeah, I can't do it. What did I break? I feel like I just broke something. What do you mean screen dimmed? There's another phone that I stuck up over here.
Pause TTS button.
Pause TTS. Resume TTS.
Repeat message.
That's kind of
Addy
loud.
Mirimer 4978 says disco and techno are my vibe.
Disco and techno. I'm a big fan of disco. Like you kind of got to be in the mood for it. But like disco's some pretty good stuff. And when you do disco techno and you mix them both together, Riri's right. That can be a lot of fun. Let's see what else we got in Check Pete's voicemail here.
Hi, Pete. So I have a business question for you.
Okay.
So you run a successful voiceover business, and from what you said in the past, at one point you were at a crossroads between continuing working in radio or taking the leap of faith and working for yourself.
Correct.
For anyone considering working for themselves versus working for a corporation, what are some things they need to keep in mind or some guiding principles to help them in making that decision as to whether they should take a leap and work for themselves? Thank you and have a great show.
Thank you. That's Sarah. And I believe, I firmly believe in working for yourself. It's This is oddly a message I learned from Billy Idol, an interview that he did a bunch of years ago. And he tells the story that his father was a tool salesman, and he was a very good tool salesman, and he made a lot of money and was very successful at what he did, and he was very good at what he did. But Billy realized that at a certain point, his dad was selling another product, someone else's product. And what he wanted to do was not promote someone else's product. He wanted to sell his own product. And to take it one step further, he wanted to promote and sell himself, have himself be the product. And of course, Billy Idol went on to be a world famous singer. And, I think he's up for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right now. I mean, him as his product and him selling himself couldn't have worked out any better. And I remember thinking about that. I came across that interview right when I was getting out of radio, and I was deciding, should I get into radio and work for another one boss, put my blood, sweat, tears, time, energy, and everything I had into helping another singular radio station sound good, or do I go work for myself? And I eventually decided to work for myself. I felt like, in one respect, it was a lot safer, because at the one radio station I was at, one guy came in and fired me, and that was it. I was out of that radio station. One guy came in from out of market, wanted to bring in his dude, got rid of me, and I was like, I never want that to happen again. But the thing you have to realize if you are going to go work for yourself is that you're never really working for yourself. Like people don't get that. Like someone's paying you. You're not paying yourself. And now, I have 80 something voiceover clients on retainer. Plus I'm constantly, thank you for the follow, constantly looking for new work and auditioning for new work. I mean, constantly, like I'm auditioning throughout the day, every day, trying to get new work. And there's no paid time off. There's no sick time. There's no actual vacay. Like when I go away, it is a big X. It's a negative. I lose money when I take time off, and you're at the beck and call of your clients all the time. So I guess I work for myself. People would say like you work for yourself, but instead of having just like one big boss, one radio station, I've got like 83 smaller bosses. And then my agents and managers that are constantly calling me saying, hey, we need you to read for this. We need you to audition for that. And it's a lot of work going to work for yourself. But I want everybody to do it, especially if you've got a skill or talent that is marketable. I want Josh, my surf coach Josh, so hard to like become a full-time artist because he's like such a great artist. And Banana's job, like she's a nanny and she loves kids, and her work is taking care of kids, which is amazing. Like that's great for her. And me, like I love acting and performing, and I get to do that all day, every day. But is it hard? Like, yeah, it's crazy hard. But the ceiling also, when you go to work for yourself, your ceiling is as much work you want to put in. That was the thing that kind of drove me crazy about like working for one employer. You work really, really hard. You do the whole year. You get your yearly review, and maybe they give you the 3% cost of living bonus or something like that. Or maybe they're like, hey, we'll throw an extra 10 grand on top of your salary this year for you doing such a good job. And that's the way they show appreciation at companies in corporate America. But if you're working for yourself, if you're willing to put in the time and effort, you can give yourself a raise every day, every single day. Go out there and get more work harder, put in more hours, do something like that, and you can help yourself out. You're trading a lack of security for a higher ceiling, so you have to kind of decide what kind of personality, what kind of person you are. But me, I'm the kind of person that definitely am glad I work for myself and decided to go that route.
Hey, Pete. Just asking if you could ever get the chance to get a blind surgery, to undo being blind, if that even exists. I actually haven't even looked it up. If you could, would you do it?
Oh, my God. Okay. All right, I'm going to try not to get mad. Not mad. This is one of those questions I'm talking about where you could do a tiny bit of research and figure out the answer. All right, I will answer nicely. I will answer very nicely. There is no blind surgery. There's no surgery that's going to reverse. They have not figured out how to cure blindness. They are, they can give you cataract surgery if you have cataracts. There's no way to reverse blindness. Blind surgery does not exist. If I found out that was a thing, I would be the first guy in line. And I feel like that should be obvious. However, I got to figure out how to be nice about this. I have encountered online blind people who say that they wouldn't change a thing and they're happy being blind. I don't know how to address this. I think the ones that I've encountered have told me that they've been blind since birth. So it's all they know. And they tell me that they love their community and they love their support system and they love the world that they're in. But to me, when you're blind, and probably when you've been blind from birth, your community and your world and your system are kind of small. And maybe those people are very happy within that smaller community. They've got people that help them out. They've got some way to take care of themselves, or maybe someone else taking care of them, and they find community within their disability. Maybe. Me, I had vision, and to have lost it is horrible, because I don't want to live a small life. I've always wanted to live a big life and make a big impact and do big things and enjoy things to the biggest extent that I can. And having lost my eyesight, like, do I want to stay blind? Yeah, sure. I enjoyed every time I went for a job being discriminated against without them outright saying that they didn't want to hire me because I was blind. I enjoy not seeing the faces of my loved ones and making everything in my life a million times more difficult. I'm, of course, being very sarcastic. Being blind makes everything so much harder. And I have always tried to live in the big, wide world. I never condensed my world down to a disabled community or a blind school or even blind events. I've always lived in the big, wide-sighted world. And in order to compete with them and live with them and be with them, this is a sighted world. It's designed for sighted people. I have to put in so much more effort, so much effort all the time. It is very hard to compete with you people that can see when I can't. I have to put in 5 times as much work minimum just to get to the baseline, then another 5 times to excel and exceed. And I am willing to do that. I do it again and again, but it's exhausting. And I would also appreciate the relaxation and enjoyment that having eyesight would bring me. Like, maybe I'd like to walk to the end of the street and go look at a sunset. Maybe I'd just like to look into bananas' eyes and see those. You know, maybe if I drop something on the ground, I'd like to find it in 2 seconds by looking down. That would be nice. So, like, do I want to stay blind? Absolutely not. The people that are happy being blind or content being blind, to each their own, but I can't wrap my head around it. I had this superpower. I had this ability to perceive so much information, and life was so much easier, and now it's so much harder. And I'm living it, and I'm finding enjoyment in it, and I am succeeding and achieving and doing all the things that I've always wanted to do, but it's exhausting. So yes, if there was a blind surgery, I would be the first person in line saying, sign me up.
Hey, Pete, this is Pokemon Trainer Austin. I'm sometimes, or well, often in the stream.
Oh, Pokemon Trainer Austin. He drops super chats quite frequently. Thank you for that, by the way. So Pokemon Trainer Austin.
And I was just wondering if you could talk about your experience getting a role on Ben 10. I know you played a reporter in an episode. I grew up on Ben 10. It's one of my favorite franchises. So yeah, I would love to hear more about that. If you can recall any details about it, that would be awesome. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
The Ben 10, I remember the Ben 10 job. Good morning, Bellwood. What was the first line? A flesh-eating blob is on the loose. I played a news anchor, and I got into that thing. It was a sideways way to get into it. The same way I got into Ugly Dolls. Like, I don't work in animation. I have no, I really haven't. I'd say in like 5 years, I haven't even like auditioned for animation per se. But I do trailer and promo. And there was this long promo that was done for, was it Cartoon Network for Ben 10? And I ended up getting to play the news anchor character that was written into this excessively long promo. Just like when I was playing the Ugly Dolls scanner, I was written into the trailer. And I believe both of them got cut into the actual shows. But it was this sideways, like I auditioned for a promo and then ended up being a character. And then they actually made the news character. I remember he was wearing I can remember, I had a little bit of vision at the time. It was like 14 years ago at this point, 13 years ago. I think the guy was wearing like an orange suit and he had like gray wingtips. And it was this long news anchor part. And I remember I was like so new to the voiceover business back then, like kind of laughing because it was a little embarrassing. I was so new to the voiceover business that I got that job, and that thing, it ran. Like I remember hearing it on Cartoon Network. It was on constantly, whether it was the episode or the trailer, and didn't really know how the business ran. And the guy I did the session with, I reached out directly to him. It was like, it's the biggest faux pas in the business. Like, you don't do this. And I wrote out to him, I was like, that was really cool being in Ben 10. Like, there was a bunch of people heard it, a bunch of people saw it, and they're like, that was super cool. They're like, you should do more of that. And I was like, yeah, I'd like to do more of that. Like, and so I reached out to the guy that directed the session. And I was like, hey, can I do some more of that? And he's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just the director of your session. Like, maybe audition again and get another job in Ben 10 if you want to be in Ben 10. So it kind of, and also, like, it's not cool to go around your agent. I just got so excited. It was like one of the first, like, it was definitely the first big animated thing that I'd done. I think, yeah, I'd been in Vice City. I'd been in San Andreas, and I'd been in Vice City at that point. Both of the Grand Theft Auto games, I'd done those, but this was like my first cartoon animation thing. And like, I didn't tell my agent at the time because they would have been pissed. They're like, you can't go around my back and just ask people if you can get a job. Like that's just not the way the business works. But yeah, it was one of the cooler things I've ever done. I'm not sure where you saw that. That thing came out quite some time ago. The chat lady keeps dying on me. I am also a chronic skipper with music. This text lady, oh man, there's a bunch of messages coming through. Hold on, seeing AI. What is playground? Text lady. Let's start up the text lady again. I'm gonna show the chat feed. Is the chat lady over here? That was the
Fox News sponsor announcer?
Yes, I am on that channel. I do a lot of work for them. Now there's someone at my front door. There's always so much going on with all this. Someone at the front door. Okay. I'm going to show the TTS controls, and then who's at my front door? Don't they know I'm doing something? It keeps telling me I don't have an active stream. I definitely have an active stream. I'm well aware that I'm streaming at this moment. How long am I going to be streaming for? Who knows? It's 7:32. I think I've been on for about an hour. I guess I can take some phone calls. I think I managed to talk a whole hour. Now this is my thing with taking the phone calls. These people, the first person that's on has been, hold on, I'm going to clean some things out. I'm going to clean a couple out because the people that were on had no idea what I was talking about. And I like to keep things like, we're all doing this together. Ooh, I think I might have just I think I might have just killed the whole phone system. Well, that would be interesting now, wouldn't it?
Connected to TikTok chat successfully.
Hey, I connected to the TikTok chat successfully. That means I'm on TikTok right now.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Jockerman.
Jockerman.
Cheers from Brazil.
Hey, cheers from Brazil. Did you guys catch that the blind guy unboxing that I dropped on Saturday with those amazing Brazilian treats, the brigadeiros? Holy hell, were those things delicious. Those things were like amazing. Let's see if I can show the TTS controls. Repeat message.
At Joni BC says at Jockerman, I'm not sure how Skype would work with this, but I would definitely take a look at what would allow you to call from where you are.
I suppose you can use Skype to call the phone number. We just did that. Someone's asking my favorite voiceover work. We did that a little bit earlier. So I'll tell you what, once this
Jockerman says I saw it.
Once this is over, you can just hit rewind and you can hear me talk all about it.
7808 says I want to order the brigadeiros.
Yeah, the brigadeiros. Why is this thing? It's talking so slow.
We have people from America, Canada, and Brazil.
Canada, America, Brazil. I can't even think the word Brazil without going Brazil, because anybody out there, you know what I'm talking about? That's where what was his name? Blanco, the character from Street Fighter 2, and every time you went to go fight in Brazil, it was Brazil. And then what was Chun-Li? It was China. It kind of actually said it like our president now. But yeah, I always think of that. The brigadeiros were so effing delicious. In England. I gotta pause that. Pause TTS.
Jockerman says, Pete, I teach English to Brazilian students, and sometimes I use your short videos in my lessons.
Hey, you teach English to Brazilian students, and you play my videos. My videos are going pretty fast. That must be a very advanced class. But that's cool. All the things my videos are getting used for. See, this is why I do this stuff. I do it because of the community and getting out there, and I appreciate the community and what people get out of these videos. All right, I put the phone number up there. I might as well take a phone call. We're definitely going to take a bunch of phone calls tomorrow. When Banana comes in, we'll do a Talk to Banana segment. But right now we can see who we got on there, 760-517-6844. Over an hour into the show, and you're the first call. Who's this?
Hey, bud. Pete, my name is Brian, and I'm from Northern California.
Hey, Brian.
How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Hey, I discovered you about, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I want to tell you first and foremost that you have been an inspiration to me, hands down, without a doubt, as many as other people as well too. I just diagnosed about 8 years ago with retinitis pigmentosa.
Yep.
And I'm going to be 50 years old this year, and I have been having a hell of a time. And when you spoke about, the blind surgery, like, I feel every amount of emotion that you didn't want to let out, because I feel the same way in my growing up with this disease now in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I was sighted. I had to let go of a lot of things.
Yeah. Changes everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And, so now I'm doing different things. I've had a voice that people have told me I should do things with my voice since I was a little kid. I've had this voice since 8th grade, believe it or not. And so just seeing your story, seeing what you do, knowing, your sight limitations, which aren't really that limiting. And I've just wanted to physically tell you that I look up to you, man. I appreciate everything you do, and I think what you're doing is great. And it's actually inspiring me to be a little bit more open with my diagnosis. And totally heartfelt, and hopefully that brightens your day a little bit, maybe your week, who knows. But I just want you to know, as a Gen X gentleman, I think you're doing awesome, sir. And I think you are an inspiration to a lot of people, more than you even know.
That's very, very cool to hear. It was hard for me to, and sounds like you might have, I feel like a lot of us are similar, more similar than I thought, in that it's hard to accept. You hide it for a while. You don't want people to know that you're going blind. You don't want to be looked at as less than, like, all that. It was so hard. And then to come on and like make this channel and then just put it out there, but then to realize that I wasn't alone. For you though, man, like getting diagnosed, I kind of always knew, like, even when I was in college and 18 years old, I was like, I got to pick a career that I'm going to be able to do with no eyesight. Like, I always, the timing of mine kind of worked out for me. Were you pretty far into your life? Did it F up your career?
So my grandfather, he had retinitis pigmentosa. Okay.
Yeah.
I always knew it. My grandfather always, into like my early adulthood into my 20s, he'd always be like, "How are your eyes?" And I never understood. I'd be like, "Papa, they're fine. I'm good.
Yeah.
And I had, I got married. I had a successful business. I was an electrical contractor by trade. When I turned 38 years old, I started noticing my vision started acting different. It was hard for me to read print. It would be hard for me to read documents. Driving was becoming to be a little bit harder. Started a little bit at night. I was having more and more trouble seeing.
Yep.
And, I got to a point where I kept going to the eye doctor, and they kept, "Oh, you're fine, you're fine." Then I went to the retinal specialist, and that's when I was diagnosed when I was 40 years old. And since then, I've had to go on permanent disability because I'm legally blind. I don't drive anymore.
Yeah.
So now I'm, I didn't have any warning. It kind of just hit me in the lap, and progressively got worse over time. And now, I'm not with a cane yet. How long that's going to last, I don't know. I'm starting to really take the thoughts and the thinking of the know-how of maybe start doing some mobility training, just because, there's no guarantee that I'm going to have solid eyes.
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't even have solid eyes.
Don't be. That was another thing. And thank you for the call. I appreciate it. That was a hard one for me. Switching to the cane, like being a guy. Like I played football, man. Like I was a starting player on my high school football team. Played offensive line. I still couldn't see very well back then, but I could see well enough to hit the defensive players. But like I was riding my bike all over the place. I was playing ultimate frisbee. I was captain of my swim team. I was a champion competitive sailor. And then all of a sudden one day I'm walking around the street with a stick. It freaking sucked. Like, it was not cool. But eventually, you just got to kind of accept reality and understand that that's the thing you need to make your life safer and make it a little easier for the person that you're with. The transition to the stick, as scared as I was to do it, the freedom I felt the first time I started to walk down the sidewalk with that thing and I'm sweeping it back and forth and people like knew that I was blind. They're like, oh, blind guy coming through. Like it really, it was a huge help. But as for, having a transition from being an electrical contractor or living your life one way when you're sighted to having to switch it all up, like that's hard. I do feel it's so weird to say like, I feel lucky about the way I went disabled, but it happened early enough and was slow enough that, it sucks lots of nards now that I can't see, but I had all this warning and I spent my whole life, I really spent my whole life like preparing for it. But he sent me some sort of a message. Let's see if I can figure out.
9 minutes ago. Tuesday. April messages. 4 minutes ago. Maggie, we went to the park. There was a certifiable crazy lady there, but we are back now.
Oh, so Banana went to the park. She said we, so I'm assuming she was with the puppies. And there was a certifiable crazy lady there.
7:41 p.m.
But they're back now. That's good to know. Which means that's probably going to be time for hamburgers. Tuesday night is hamburger night. Doo-dah. Let's see what else we got. No, that thing's not on. We got so many follows in that. I want to pop on over. It's text to speech is so slow. That's everybody else just gets to like. Can you like hear how slow this is? I'm activating Twitch. Now I'm going to my profile. Now I'm going to my settings. Now I'm going to my creator dashboard. It's so slow. Now I'm going to my channel. I'm just trying to see if anybody's yeah, that's me. 330 followers. Let's see. Am I actually? Oh yeah, there we go. That's me right now. Hey, yeah. Is anybody in this thing? Oh, there's messages. What's up, people? Someone says, "Let's go." I have no idea how many people are in the Twitch. I was just curious. Mod view is here. Dismiss. Whatever. It's time for burgers, so I gotta go. Excuse me. So tomorrow we'll be doing more phone calls. When we get to the one tonight, there was just so much I wanted to address, so much stuff I wanted to talk about, so many things I wanted to get off my chest, and then tomorrow I won't be green. I won't be green and angry anymore. I'll be all happy. I'm Happy Pete. I'm what you call a Happy Pete. I'm generally pretty chipper. So I appreciate you guys sticking around for all this tonight. I hope everybody got something interesting out of this. I do love these things. I love being able to talk for more than 60 seconds at a time and addressing real things. Ooh, real things. The video I did, it was entitled, when did I drop it? Monday. It was entitled, I Wouldn't Date a Blind Person. There was so much more to that. One person, I get hyper-focused on like one person in the comment section. One person saw that, and they're like, that's ableist. I'm like, the title isn't actually the point of what I was saying. I was trying to express the feelings that me and other disabled people have. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that on Twitch. And that was it's so this whole game that we play with social media, like unboxing is fun. It brings people in. And then like I do like a video like surfing and overcoming stuff. But every once in a while, I take the capital that I've built. It's almost like relationship or political capital. And I take all this capital that I've built up and I drop a video that if it was on another channel or if I was just starting would get like 0 views because it just doesn't have the hook and it's not important or it's not, it's not like catchy or racy or something like that. And that was the one where I was talking about what it's like to be in a relationship and be disabled and the feelings that come along with that. That one was called, like I said, I Wouldn't Date a Blind Person. So I used all the capital that I've earned this month to drop like an important video and the messages in there. Cody was one of the first guys that dropped a message. Everybody was telling like their feelings and that crap's important to me. So the channel is very, it's done intentionally. Like there's fun and there's messages and there's information. And then every once in a while I try and sneak in a message. And so I appreciate you guys letting me do that. Tomorrow's video is kind of a behind the scenes unboxing one. Like, what do I do when I get something that I'm not exactly sure about and I take it out into the world and try and figure it out? You'll see me with Josh and Nisha trying to figure something out. I'll play, because I know not everybody is able to catch the first 1 second of the show. As I get out of here and try not to walk into the camera on the way out, I will play my 2 waves from the weekend. The first one was with Brooks. It was a tiny little weird wave that confused me. And then there's going to be a slightly bigger wave that I was very excited the way I caught it, how I caught it, what I did on. That was on Sunday with Nisha. I will play you out with those, and then I will be back tomorrow. It'll be me and Banana and your guys' calls. We'll take more calls tomorrow, I swear. All right, so I gotta find which button I'm supposed to press here. I think that one and this. Later, guys. See? Easy peasy. 9 years of practice, but easy peasy after that.